Also want to thank our hosts for this evening, Jay Callahan, Mike Cantalupa, Dana Nielsen, and Sean Barrett for making tonight's event possible. The first part of my job tonight is to welcome our guest speaker, Dan Roach. It is an understatement to say that Dan is a busy guy. Dan's an award-winning sports anchor reporter for WBZ TV News and My TV 38. He's also a reporter for WBZ TV and the New England Patriots flagship programs, Patriots All Access and Patriots Game Day, and is the host of the Patriots Fifth Quarter post-game show. Dan also contributes to WBZ Radio and 98.5 The Sports Hub as well. Dan's been a leader in Boston sports coverage for over 2 decades. This part of the whole thing was awesome when I talk about the greatest job in the world, right? So through the years, here's some of the things Dan's covered. His personal list of memorable events he's covered include the Patriots Super Bowl in '96, the Pats' perfect 16-0 regular season win, against the Giants. In 2007, the 04-07 Red Sox World Series championships, and he was the only Boston reporter to gain access and ride with the team in the 04 Duck Boat victory, which I thought would be one of the, like, you want to check something off your bucket list, that is about as good as it gets. So, Dan has been gracious enough to come and speak to us. Dan actually has to be back on the air in another sportscast in a little while, and I just want to thank him for making this time for us. So please, everybody, give him a great, tough welcome, Dan Roach.
Thanks. Coach? Do you like manager or coach? Terry Francona used to hate it when I called him coach.
I'll take anything, because there's a lot of names I get called.
Thanks very much. I'm filling in for Tony Maz. Tony Maz and I are a lot alike from the sense of we both are passionate about baseball. So that's where it starts and ends. Tony's the most miserable person I've ever met in my life. His negative is my positive, so it's kind of a nice thing. I can hear him right now, but he hasn't passed his physical, Mike. Right? That's going on with the J.D. Martinez thing and everything else, so I am here to take the reins, and by the way, I would not bid. I know there's a silent auction on item number 3, producer for a day for the Felger and Maz show. It's not really that fun, and you'll sit with Jimmy Stewart for the 4 hours, so I'd say don't go. But thanks for having me here. This is a place I call my second home. A couple suites over is where, if I could, I always told my wife, if she leaves me, when she leaves me, I would love to just rent John Henry's suite every day, wake up, winter, look over at Fenway Park, and just kind of start my day. So that's kind of on my bucket list. So you talked about bucket list, that's right up there too. And by the way, that was a thrill. They created a rule after I did that in 2004 in City Hall. They said the Dan Roach rule is you cannot climb on board a duck boat with any of these players and their celebrations and everything, because I snuck on with a camera on my photographer over by the warning track, and we were on the boat with Jason Veritek, Trot Nixon, Gabe Kapler, and Doug Mirabelli, and it was the best time. And so imagine, we pretty much covered it, because that was such a huge event. We covered it from, sun up until the thing was over. And I don't know if you remember, but they went on the ride and they got over by the Museum of Science, and there was a long delay because they had to get the duck boats in the water. They went into the water, and the Charles was just massive amounts of people on both sides, the bridges. So while all the other stations were trying to fill time, I had Trot Nixon, who, if you put a microphone in front of and he's comfortable, will talk for 3.5 hours, which pretty much he did, and told the story of the 2004 Red Sox. So we were both knee-deep in water when we got done, but it was a blast as well. So my message to you guys here is pretty simple. I've been doing what I love. Two things came into my life in 7th grade, and I have no idea why. I wanted to, A, get into the sports broadcasting business or sports reporting in any way I could, and B, I wanted to play college baseball. I didn't care who, what, where, how, or when for any of those, and I was able to do both. I initially went to Syracuse. I got into Syracuse for broadcasting, and I was a senior at North Andover High School, And you guys will appreciate this. I was a 280 hitter in high school. I could hit a fastball, but I couldn't. You threw me a breaking ball, I was done. Anything near a breaking ball, I'd swing. I had the game of my life in a state tournament game. I turned 3 double plays at second base, went 4 for 4, and a small school from Maine came up to me. Remember Nassau College, where the men are men and the women are too? Sorry if I offend anybody. What I say in this room stays in this room. But the coach came up and said, we need a second baseman. I talked to my dad. I pulled out of Syracuse and I went to this small school in Maine and was able to play college baseball for 1 year because I got up there in August. In late September, the dean of the school called a meeting and said, we're going bankrupt and we may not make it through this semester. So at that point, it was great because the teachers stopped caring about grades or anything else. They just wanted to get paid. So I basically had a gap year and played baseball. So it was tremendous. I transferred to Syracuse and on I was. So it was very, very cool. So those were the things that I wanted to do, and I've been able to do that and to cover the Red Sox. We had a Red Sox weekly show for about 7 years. Friday Night Baseball here at Fenway. I was able to be a guy in the stands and report about baseball. So I've seen them win 3 World Series championships. We finally saw them win it here at home. And just for you guys, I would just say appreciate every single day. And that's the beauty of what you guys are about to encounter and about to do. You guys know, the returning players know, there's nothing like being together as a team. And I tell my kids this same thing. It's just, I've said it to them for years. You get into that routine and just, the sweat and everything that goes into what you guys do. When you're out on that baseball field, you got each other's backs, you're in the dugout, just make sure you appreciate every second of what you guys do, because there's nothing better than what you guys are about to enjoy, starting with Castleton coming up in just a few weeks. So I would say have a great time with that. Take everything, enjoy it, and then take it from there. So I will say that I did know my son was a catcher for Phillips Academy in Andover. He was a backup catcher. My daughter got all the athleticism from my wife. The coach would always say to me, I don't know if Dad, you've heard this too, the coach would come up and I say, hey, how's my son doing? Boy, he really knows the game well. He loves the game. I'm like, yeah, how's he doing? Well, he really loves the game. He's a great teammate. Damn. My daughter, it's always, she plays softball at Babson. She's a catcher. She's a field hockey player as well. And by the way, if you guys go to the Tufts website, go to early September, the game against the number 3 ranked team in the country, Tufts maybe. Check out who scored the game-winning goal in overtime. Yeah, bitches. Yeah. Tori Roach. Yes, thank you very much. $60,000 to witness a game-winning goal. I'll take it. Thank you. But he played, he caught Tim Saperko, and he caught Rory Zomack as well, and loved it. And he works in the Texas Rangers organization in their baseball ops department, so he's a part of baseball. My wife works for Bauer Hockey. She's a part of it. My daughter, catcher, and a softball and field hockey player. So my life is pretty much 24/7 sports, and it's tremendous. I wouldn't change a thing. And the only thing I told my wife is, whenever she needs to off me, I'll take care of it, because we are so much in debt from going to Babson and going to Villanova for 4 years that I'm better off dead, life insurance-wise. So a lot of you parents will appreciate that same thing, because all you players get so much money, right? Too, and yes, wink, wink, right? Yeah. It's not like become a Burton. If you ever want to live in life, become Steve Burton's kids. They've all gone to scholarship. They've all gone to make money, and Steve pays nothing for college. Not that I regret it or anything like that. Or resent it. But I've been able to come here a lot. I've done everything here. The time I spent with Terry Francona, David Ortiz, Pedro Martinez. Again, we're here in the same room. I was at a press conference downstairs in the interview room with David Ortiz. And David Ortiz, for some reason, I don't know if it was just because we got along so well, he started calling me his bitch. A 50-year-old man, and my wife would say, "What is he doing?" We're at a press conference for D'Angelo's. The CEO of D'Angelo's is sitting one table, David's in the next table, and his agent's in the next seat, rather. And all of a sudden, halfway through the press conference, he goes, "Hey, see that guy over there? That's my bitch." And I'm like, "Really, David? Really?" And he goes, "And you can tell your wife I said that too." So that was one of the highlights of my career covering the Boston Red Sox as well. You know, everything else has been the same type of thing. I love this time of year. Normally going out of spring training. Didn't go this year. I don't know, because of our wonderful company or what have you, but, you know, we spent too much money on the Super Bowl maybe, but that's in this room. That's all we say in this room. I don't resent it at all. But I loved, you know, every day getting up. It's Groundhog Day in spring training. 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, you get to the park, you walk to where the media area is, and you can hear the batting cages going with the coaches and the players getting there early, the crack of the bat. I just love everything about spring training, and I love everything about this time of year. It's just, and again, I can't emphasize how much, just talk the game, enjoy the game, learn from your coaches. They have all the experience in the world, and just try to become better ball players and just better people. It's the people in the game of baseball. I love everybody that I've encountered. You know, I mean, I know we boo and people get negative, or Tony Maz gets really negative, and Felger, and I hate them. But I take every day, I wake up and, hey, what are we doing today? You know, so it's like, let's go see a ball game and stuff. So, again, I can't wait. My daughter's going to Arizona to play 6 games there, and then to Florida for 6 games. Where are you guys going? You guys are like a wealthy program. You're like going to like Aruba or Cancun, right? Where are you going? Virginia and North Carolina. Awesome. So you guys had so much success last year again, the NESCAC Conference champions. So congratulations to that. Back to back, right? Coach can keep cashing a paycheck, right? That's the best part of it all, too. Yeah, there you go. So just enjoy the moment, you know. So there's been so many moments that I've witnessed, watched. The day-to-day stuff is what I treasure probably more, as you guys can tell. I mean, I used to sit in the dugout and just get to know the players. And I talk baseball with Johnny Damon. Hey, who's the toughest guy you ever had to face? David Cohn would always be his answer. And, you know, just to listen. I think I'm different than a lot of the media people. I actually enjoy what I do for a living, 1. And I actually enjoy the game of baseball, 2. And I don't wake up every day hating life, 3. So that's a little bit different I am as far as the media is concerned. Just a little bit. But, again, talk the game. Enjoy it. You know, Terry Francona and I text him, you know, almost on a weekly basis, back and forth, and just, that's the kind of stuff that you guys, the relationships that you'll have for the rest of your life. So, appreciate everything you have here, appreciate this night, and again, enjoy it. Good battles, go out there and take it to them. Have a blast this year. So, thank you very much.
Appreciate Dan coming by, and so we want to try to at least move him to cheer for Tufts. So we're going to take care of Dan with this little bit of a nice pullover fight. During softball.
Yes, I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
All right, so before we get up to eat, I want to recognize 2 very special people. A lot goes into becoming a team. Respect, resilience, motivation, inspiration. Over the past few seasons, we've been blessed with great team chemistry. And when this happens, many solid teammates are never aware of how much they contribute to the group because of their great concern for others. I want to mention 2 people who have had a tremendously positive effect on our team. Michelle and Jay, you guys have been awesome teammates. Your example of a positive attitude and relentless effort have been what we strive for. Your perseverance, courage, and grit have been inspirational. So tonight we want to recognize you 2 with our True Jumbo Award for all you've done for us. So come on up. It's my pleasure to introduce a great friend of our program and a person who continues to bring great energy and vision to Tufts Athletics. So let's welcome our athletic director, John Morris.
Thanks, Case, for all the hours you put into that introduction. I was going to spend a lot of time thanking a lot of people, but I really just want to thank Dan Roach more than anyone. He created such a runway for me. As long as I don't call you bitches, I will not get in trouble. That was awesome. Thank you all for coming out tonight to help us kick off another great year of Jumbo baseball. This is awesome. I mean, I do not get tired of this. All you Bostonians, maybe you take it for granted, but we are at Fenway Park. This is awesome. I grew up in St. Louis, going to that. I mean, a huge Cardinal fan, and again, I'm glad we let you win your first World Series, but I grew up going to the just awful Busch Stadium that just looked like Cincinnati Stadium, Pittsburgh Stadium. It was awful, but I would always see Fenway Park on This Week in Baseball with Fred Lynn making catches and everything. And it is honestly, it was a dream of mine as a kid to even come to Fenway Park. So it is great to be here. And thank you all for making an effort on a rainy Friday night to be here. This is one of my favorite events of the year, and I'm really glad that I'm able to be here. My family and I flew back from Disney World really late last night. Coincidentally, we had already booked our plane tickets to come back last night on Thursday night. We didn't know this event was going to be Friday, but it worked out great because when my 4-year-old daughter was crying about why do we have to leave early, why do we have to go back to Boston, I was able to blame John Casey. It was great. So Madeline is not going to be very excited to see you next time you see her. But I will tell you, the flight home from Orlando was no picnic. I had not prepared at all for tonight, so I was thinking I'll just use the flight to prepare my thoughts. Well, that plane was filled with some emotionally and financially depleted parents and some very tired children. I assumed we were home free because we had the built-in babysitter on JetBlue, but I think we got that one row where the monitors don't actually work. So we had to entertain the kids for the whole flight back. So I actually went to bed late, kind of stressed that I hadn't really thought at all about what I was going to say tonight. And I think that's the reason that I had a rather bizarre dream. And this is true. I had a dream last night that I had just started at Tufts and baseball season was just starting, and someone told me that right before the game you have to get in the dugout because the AD watches every baseball game in the dugout. I swear to you I had that dream last night. And when I woke up, I had two predominant thoughts. The first one was, I am sure Coach Casey would classify that dream as a nightmare. And it would be mutual. In the immediate aftermath of a wonderful trip to Disney, the second thought that occurred to me was, could you think of two places more different than the other? Disney World and the game day dugout at a Tufts baseball game. I would hazard a guess that no one has ever confused the two. When things aren't going well in our baseball games, there's not a lot of aw shuckses coming out of that dugout. Thank you, good night. I actually do, though. I was thinking about it today. I actually do think there are some similarities between Disney World. I can't even say that with a straight face. And the Tufts baseball program that align with each other. No, honestly, I actually researched this afternoon. There's some mantras upon which, the Disney company was founded. Some quotes from Walt Disney. One was, the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. I could see that being part of the Tufts baseball culture. Another one was, and this is a Walt Disney quote too, you may not realize it when it happens, but a kick in the teeth can sometimes be the best thing in the world for you. And honestly, I think that is a part of Tufts baseball, in a good way. And the other one that I saw was the difference between winning and losing is often not quitting. And I thought about that one, and I thought about driving up to Colby last year for the NESCAC baseball championship in that must-win game against Amherst. That was a great game to watch, not from the dugout. But talk about not quitting. I mean, I think about that ninth inning. We hadn't scored in 4 or 5 innings. Tom Petrie gets on, I can't remember how. And then Tommy O'Hara hits. I mean, I thought the center fielder made the catch of the year. Right? Was it the right fielder in the gap? It was right. Okay. And when that ball came out of the glove, that was just the greatest thing. And where's Faulkson? Faulkson's over there somewhere. That was such a big single. Thank you so much for that one. That was great. But on the whole, even though there may be some similarities, I will stick with the general idea that most people would not mistake a day hanging out in our dugout with the day at Disney World. But that's the beauty of Tufts baseball. Case isn't here to prepare people to go to Disney World. Case and his staff are here to prepare men for life after college, for the real world, not Disney World. Tufts baseball, what I love about it is that it teaches guys to have perseverance, courage, integrity, accountability, mental toughness, and grit. In fact, he gave everyone on the team a book entitled Grit. He gave one to me. You did give it to everyone. That wasn't just me, right? The Tufts baseball program, it holds our baseball student athletes accountable academically. Our baseball team had a 3.24 cumulative GPA this past spring. And they once again had 6 academic all-NESCAC players to help Tufts earn more academic all-NESCACs as a department in the spring than any other NESCAC school. And I love it that a couple of those academic all-NESCACs were also all-NESCAC on the playing field too. Spiros and Will Shackelford were both did both, which I love. The Tufts baseball program also teaches the values of community service. I mean, as in every year, our guys are out in the community under Coach Casey's leadership. They're heavily involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and this year they just did a great thing with Team Impact by drafting Cooper onto the team. This may fall somewhere into the Disney culture, but the whole idea, if you're going to do something, if you're going to bother to do something, do it right. Watching the young men on this baseball team prepare for the draft day for Cooper, for Team Impact, the extra work that you guys did for that video and the sports commentary and all that stuff to make Cooper feel special and welcome and instantly part of the brotherhood of your team, it was just so impressive to see you guys go the extra mile. And finally, Tufts baseball teaches our student athletes the value of hard work and the value of striving for championships in every aspect of their life. On the field, they got it done last year. They were 30-10, 65-18 over the last 2 years with a .783 winning percentage. Second straight NESCAC championship, 5 all-NESCAC players, including Nick Faulkson, who I already talked about as Player of the Year, and Spiros Varinos, who was Pitcher of the Year in the NESCAC and won 8 million other awards. In spite of all the hard time I gave him at this event last year about his lack of email skill and grace, he went on to have a pretty good year. So it made me, I'm kind of superstitious, and since he had a good year after I did that, I was wondering if I should, give a little hard time to another member of the team. What do you guys think? Yeah. Well, I was just going to share, and this is just to help him, that there's a player on the team, his first name might be Ian, who I read about online that his superstition is before he plays, he kisses his glove 13 times. And I was just going to observe that that's almost as many times as not 20 feet from me I saw him kissing a member of our women's squash team. My wife and I were like 20 feet away. It was 12 noon at a restaurant right near campus. That was just good work. I mean, I really appreciate, he's under the table. I really appreciate baseball's efforts to break down the walls between our sports. So thank you. In fairness, I think she had just lost, so he was merely consoling her. So he's a good guy. But evidently, guys, you know, if you need to take people to an amorous spot, go to Semolina at noontime. It's a good spot. Anyway, I digress a little bit. I'm almost done. Are you going to ever let me speak again at this thing? I will wrap it up. I do want to say the success of the program starts at the top. I really want to congratulate John Casey on a great year. I mean, he was NESCAC Coach of the Year for the second time in a row. He was also this summer promoted to Associate Athletic Director in recognition for his many incredible achievements throughout the department for many years. He's an incredible source of great counsel, advice, hard work, and he cares about our entire department from top to bottom. So that was a highlight for me. And he also, many of you may have read this fall, our football alums, headed up by Oval Club members, awarded him the John Baroni Award for a lifetime of great contributions to the football program. So, team had a great year. Coach Case had a great year. And as we talked about at this event last year, it's about time we gave this great baseball program the facility they deserve. We finished the design study in the last few months that we talked about last year. We have a cost figure to build this great facility. It's at $5 million. Candidly, we haven't made as much progress on the fundraising front as we would have liked. The buck stops with me on that, but this is a priority project for us, and it's something we're going to make a priority over the next year, and I'm really confident it's something we can get done. Case is going to talk a little bit more about that, but I think we can really get some momentum and excitement around that project. It'll be great for Tufts University. It'll be great for Tufts baseball. So I'll just end with another quick thank you. I just want you to know, alums, well, first of all, student athletes, very proud of what you do and how you represent us. Alums and parents, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for all the support that you give to our department and to Coach Casey and the program. Student athletes, good luck this year. I really look forward to watching you play. Have a great year.
Okay, now we're going to hear from our 2018 captains, Nick Foxen and Tom O'Hara.
Good evening. I just want to start off by saying thank you to all the alumni, parents, and continued supporters of Tufts baseball. Also, thank you to the Fenway Park staff for hosting us here again tonight. I just want to talk briefly about a day in the spring of 2015 that I'll never forget. I was a freshman at Brandeis University, and I thought that a doubleheader against Tufts would be no different from playing any other Northeast baseball team. What I didn't know, however, was the lasting impact that these games would leave on me that day. In the first game, and Coach Casey might say otherwise, Brandeis held its own until some bandwagon Chicago sports fan with a weird haircut hit a pop fly to center field that the wing carried out to give Tufts a 5-4 lead and give it the extra run to beat Brandeis by 1 run. If anyone knows what happened to this kid, please let me know. But the second game stood out most to me that day. Yes, Tufts slaughtered Brandeis by 26 runs. But what was more memorable than that was the way that Tufts carried themselves. When they were up by a landslide, their players raced each other to retrieve foul balls. They never took a pitch off because of the score. They played the game with more enthusiasm, heart, pride, and passion than I had ever seen before in my life. Even with a mouthful of who knows what in his mouth, their coach was relentless. In demanding the absolute best from his players. Their sportsmanship and character was then demonstrated after the game, when they had left the Brandeis visitors' dugout much cleaner than it had been before they had arrived. As all these small, yet important attributes that define the continued Tufts baseball tradition. It's this very same tradition that motivated me to do everything I could to become a part of this program. But tradition isn't born overnight, and it is the efforts and the dedication of all the alumni and all the Tufts baseball supporters in this room that has built this lasting legacy and has allowed the current Tufts players in this room to succeed on and off the field. So thank you to all the alumni and continued supporters of Tufts baseball for everything you have done for the program and for giving us the opportunity to be a part of something much bigger than ourselves. Go Jumbos.
What's going on, everyone? Tommy O'Hara. I'm not a bandwagon Chicago sports fan. So when I was thinking about stuff that I want to talk about for tonight, a couple things came in my mind. And I started watching these videos that one of our seniors, Sid Warrenbrand, has made throughout the years. And if you don't know Sid, he's pretty much a wizard with his cameras and the tablets. And makes these great videos that we see on YouTube and Facebook that we post. So I was watching the 2016 dog pile, NESCAX, and the 2017 dog pile, and just watching those videos really kind of reiterated to me how fortunate we are as Jumbo baseball players to be here and wear that uniform and compete for Tufts. So it's even better to be in this room right now and be with guys that have done it and understand it and have been through it. So it's a pretty cool fraternity that we have. Kind of tying into that about being fortunate to play for Tufts. So this new year, we have a new poster in the locker room. The first thing I saw when we walked in was this huge poster. And as you guys know, everything in the locker room is there for a reason. From the captain's letters to the individual quotes above your locker that coach puts there, everything has a purpose. And so this new poster, it's called Jumbos by the Numbers. This big thing in the middle, and it has numbers from 1 to 40, all the Jumbo greats that have played throughout the years. Going back to 1950 was the earliest year I saw on there. And under each number is like a couple different Jumbos that have played. And on the poster it says, you don't own the jersey. You're just the body in the jersey right now. It's your job to continue the legacy. Can you leave it in a better place than you found it? And for us as a team, I just thought that was really cool, and we found it really cool that we are Jumbo baseball players and we get to do this. We get to do this for fun, and it's something we thoroughly enjoy. Lastly, on a different note, a lot of you guys may know, Coach is nearing the end of his 50s and about to turn 60 in the coming year. Don't worry, he hasn't lost a step yet. He's as competitive as ever. So we were playing the network Wednesday night, and we were doing one of our scrimmages inside. And he gave us a speech about how we're going to prove people wrong this year in 2018. And how there's no better feeling in the world than to prove people wrong when they say you can't do something, but you do it anyway, and you shove it to them. So I just thought that, after a speech like that, you feel like you can run through a wall. And there are certain speeches that Coach gives throughout the years that you really remember and you feel. And so I just want to thank you for that, because we really appreciate it. And with that, that's about all we have. Thank you.
see why I love my job, because I get to coach guys like that. It's really cool. And the other part that you should thank them is they've wiped out, like between John and those guys, they've wiped out like 90% of what I was going to say, so that'll speed everything up, which is awesome too. But one of my final jobs seemed to give you a quick preview about our 2018 season, which, as you all know, is a true highlight for me. I love to do this, right? So, but before I do that, I want to recognize a few people. Okay, this year we've started a faculty liaison program, and Alexis and I talked about it. I'll introduce Alexis in a second, but you know, as soon as she said it, I jumped. I go, I got Steve Cohen. I don't care what anyone does, we're in. Okay, and the reason is because my son was taught by Steve, and Steve's a professor at Tufts, but my son graduated years ago and still talks about what a great guy he was, okay, and how much of a difference he made to him, and how all the time he tried to take the extra step to help someone. And I said, that's my guy. He fits right in with us, except he's a Yankees Mets guy, which is a little bit of a problem. No, Mets, which is worse, Mets. Right? So we got to switch that winning culture a little bit on him. But the best part of it is I knew he was a 100% perfect fit when he went into the locker room the other night and talked to our team, and in the first 5 words, he dropped an F-bomb. So he's welcome in the dugout, John. You still got to work at it. But I want to welcome Steve Cohen. I also want to welcome our new senior associate AD, Alexis Mastronati. John made an awesome hire. She's been tremendous. She's really been great to everybody in our department, and she's really brought just such professionalism and such energy to us. So, Alexis, thank you. Welcome. My next job is I'm going to introduce several people, but these are the people that make it all work, that do all the hard work, honestly, and really don't get half of the credit they deserve. So I want to just list them right now. Matty Malone is the hardest working man in America. He can't help us any more than he does. Paul Sweeney is, although he started drinking a Heineken tonight, so I think I don't know what's going on, Sweeney's, but he is your view on the website and everything else. No one works harder than Paul. Brian Gordon Brian does all the financial stuff to make this work, because if you have ever worked at Tufts and dealt financially, it's a horror show, and Brian deals with all this stuff, so we appreciate all Brian's great effort. Steve Nason is our facilities guy, and what a great friend Steve is. You know, it's a pretty cool thing when you're a baseball coach and you know the field matters, right? You know all that stuff matters. And when the guy in charge walks us as coach, we're with you. Just let us know how we can make it better. You can't have a better person with you than Steve Nason. Thanks, Steve. You know, when you look at all of our guys, right, we're actually pretty physical, and we're a big team. So sometimes I can get chirpy knowing I got all these guys behind my back. But the guy who's responsible for that and has done an awesome job with that team is our strength coach, Alex O'Keefe. And literally a guy's become a great friend of mine and really done an awesome job for us. And I really mean this, right? We are not here without our players. And we're not here without someone who's really reasonable and fair. And I would never want the job he has, because he has to make some of the toughest decisions in the world. But I respect him tremendously. Our admissions liaison, Pat Gladstone. importantly, we're really pumped because I hope you all know that Tufts is starting their Hall of Fame that's being held this April 21st. And the 1950 baseball team was one of the first 2 teams being inducted. And what's really cool is we have one of the members of that team here, so I want to give everyone a big round of applause to Kenny Fennick. See, it really starts somewhere, and those guys put us on the map. I mean, when you think about the 1950 team, right? They're one of the top 8 teams. They're playing Texas, Wichita State, Bradley, right? It's a pretty awesome group of guys, man. So I mean, that's where the tradition started, and we're just trying to be good stewards and keep that thing going. And I appreciate everything you've done. We've had a great run over the last few years, and last year we were led by an awesome group of seniors, and I'd be neglectful if I didn't tell you. In their 4 years at Tufts, they won 125 baseball games. They were in 4 playoff appearances and 3 NCAA appearances and 2 NESCAC championships. And I know like a huge majority of those guys there, so stand up and be recognized last year's team. So as you can see, these guys have left a pretty high standard for us to live up to. But like Tommy stole my thunder, right? The fun in life is achieving things collectively that people don't think you can. And so we've told our guys that our job this year is those guys moved on, and that's awesome, but the challenge is ours, and we're willing to accept that. Okay, the one thing I can promise to tell you is that we've accepted the challenge, and we're not going to give an inch. We don't give an inch in the batter's box. We're not going to give an inch on how we approach things. All right, I love our guys, right? We do everything. We do it on the field, off the field. It's the whole package, and that's the most important part of it. The one thing I do want to tell you, I mean, everyone says, the coach can give us a little info this year or whatever. So here's the info, right? We're gonna be more aggressive on the base pass. We're gonna be an aggressive offensive team. Okay? Now, before we go nuts, let me explain to you what aggressive is. If anyone was at the Colby series last year, okay, and watched my son Brendan coach third base, and watched the Colby first baseman catch the ball 11 feet behind first base, and he tagged up from third with O'Hara on deck and was thrown up by 50 feet, that's not aggressive. Okay? That was when I literally wanted to spend money on a DNA test to see if that kid came from. Okay? So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page about what aggressive is. Right? All the other, yeah, I'm with the winter time. I'm with it. Okay? But the other thing that I really want to share with you, I mean, especially the parents, is how awesome your sons are, right? I mean, I feel like a lot of times I steal, right? Because being with them keeps me young. It brings me energy. I look forward to it. I'm driving in this morning at 4:10, and I couldn't be happier to be going in to be ready to practice with these guys. And the best part about it is they're all there, ready to go. Stand there ready to go. Think about this. I mean, I know you don't believe this, but a college kid at 6:15 is ready to go, dressed, wanting to go hard. That is awesome. They're awesome guys. Plus the fact that we've got a bunch of the big brothers, right? We're going to, in 2 weeks, we'll be practicing hard, the grind, right? The legs get sore inside, and they'll still hang around for another hour and a half to coach to do a clinic for some of the Little League. Because they're great with those kids, right? We do a lot of other stuff. We've raised over $3,000 for homes for our troops, which I think is really good stuff. And one of my favorite nights of the year is that we actually go and wrap holiday gifts at the Tufts alumni holiday party for foster kids. And what you don't understand is Your sons do such a great job. Every kid thinks that thing was dropped from Santa's sleigh from about 500 feet when they get those packages. All right, those things are brutal. All right, I spend half my time just going, seriously, everybody get bed. And I just give lessons. But then again, I did wrap all the presents die, right? But one of those things I want to tell you, we have 20 days to our first game, right? And hopefully our guys know that. But you all know too that the only thing that matters is tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock and how we go about our business, because that's the only thing that matters to us. I do want to thank you all for all your support, because there's no way we could run our program and run it the way we want to without the way you support us. We're continuing our efforts on raising money for our new field. And I just want to let you know we've had a few generous gifts actually in the last few weeks that are going to get us going, and we're going to ramp up our effort, as John said, even more. When I was talking about this, I go, that reminds me of the time I'm sitting in the pew at church, and the priest goes, I just want to let you know that during the sermon I want to talk about our big church project. And I'm sitting there looking at him and go, okay. And he goes, well, I just want to let you know there's good news and the bad news. The good news is we have enough money to get this church project going. The bad news is it's still in your pockets. So, let that go where that may. And as finishing up, I'd like to acknowledge my wife of well over 30 years. Well, John, I want you to know, right? So think about this. Look at how beautiful she remains to this day, right? And look at me and figure out who's aging who. Right? Not too hard to figure out. All right? I also want to thank my assistant coaches, honestly, who without question is simply the best in NESCAC, not only in NESCAC, but the country. They work their butts off. They put up with me. But the best part is they care about our guys. They care about each and every one of your sons. They work hard, and they're all great baseball men. So thank you, fellas. It's awesome. All this video going on behind me and all around the room is all CMAC, or I affectionately call him radio. Because CMAC sits at his computer with the headphones on and doesn't look at it. You touch him, he jumps 50 feet. Okay? So, when you saw that movie, that's really appropriate. So finally, in closing, I want to thank my players. Because you guys compete, you serve others, and you out-tough everybody. And that's the mark of tough baseball, right? So be ready tomorrow, because you have no idea what's coming at you. All right? I want you to enjoy your camaraderie. We really appreciate it. Again, hopefully we can get some money here in the silent auction. And we'll come back at 9:15 to announce the silent auction and last call. So other than that, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We'll do our best to make the prize.